Good morning and welcome to Get Enlightened with me, Lauren Scott. I'm so excited to be here this morning and I'm so excited to be with one of my most favorite people. His story is amazing and the way that we met is kind of incredible, but we immediately had a connection and we have been friends ever since. So welcome to my show, Mr. Young. How are you, hun?
I'm well. I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. Um,
Yes.
okay, well, let's start from the beginning. I guess we should introduce like how we met, which
Yeah.
which is it well, you know what? First before we do that, let's shout out your socials
Oh
and
yeah.
how people can get
Man.
in touch with you. He he does everything from designing skateboards. You still do skateboards, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Skateboards, clothes. You have your hands in a few different little pots there, Mister.
Yeah.
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 Okay,
Yeah.
so let's start there. Let's shout out all of the stuff from where people can find you, and then we'll start our story.
Yeah. Hi. My name is Young. You can find me at Black by Young, and also at blackbyyoung.com. The what is it? That's the main hub, but there's other components, Rose Garden and Matilda and Jacobs for the couture stuff. But yes, you can find me at Black by Young.
So that's the connections, guys. Go find him now, follow, buy his stuff. You'll see what I'm saying
Yes.
once you get there.
Absolutely.
All right, so the way that we met was wild, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. It was serendipitous, really.
It really was. Like, you know how people talk about people that come into your lives for a reason? You you came into my life at a very interesting time because it was before TikTok,
Mm. Oh,
before influencers were like actually known as influencers, really. It was the
yeah.
beginning of the social influencer stage.
Yeah.
And we just happened to be at Soho. I had come with two of the others over
Yeah.
from Playboy and you were, oh, you know what? You tell it because
Yeah.
were you the Uber driver that day?
No, 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 no. I was hanging out with my buddy Mario
Oh yeah,
and
Mario.
Jay Alvarez, and I think Mario was just in town, and he just told me to meet him at the Soho House, and so I linked him up there, and you were there, and then the rest is kind of history. But we became friends at the Soho.
We did. I think okay, wait. There was a story though with the Uber driver. Weren't you an
Yeah.
Uber driver and like you and Mario met like serendipity as well?
Yeah, yeah, it was crazy because man, I forgot what year was this. This is like maybe 6 or 7 years ago or something like that, maybe more. But well, 12 years ago, I met Mario when I first started Black. At this apartment that I was living at in Hollywood, off of Hollywood and Cahuenga, and I had a friend who lived in my building who's this Colombian DJ, and we would just hang out. But I just started making skateboards, and we just hang out. He DJ, I'm cutting grip tape. And one day we're hanging out, and his friend, who was Mario, had just come back from Colombia, traveling around, and I just met Mario, and so it was just really a random hangout. And that was the first night I met Mario. He told me he was about to leave for Italy the day after. I think it was his last night in LA, and I just met him, and so he was such just a ball of light. I felt really connected to him as a brother,
Yeah,
as a friend. And before
love
he
him.
left, I'm like, hey, you know what? Here's a skateboard that I make. I just started this company, and so it's called Black. I don't know, just a labor of love. And I just told him to remember Los Angeles, showed you love. And so that was 12 years ago. 5 years after that, a friend of mine is, my friends are in this band called Crystal Fighters, and they're about to drop another record, next week, November 3rd. So go check that out as well. But anyways, Crystal Fighters was doing Coachella. I think it
Yeah.
was their first
Yes.
Coachella.
Yes.
Yeah. And, they invited me to come check them out, and so, it was kind of a random thing. That week of, I was just saying, hey, congrats on the Coachella gig. And they're like, hey, come over. And so I go to Coachella, and a few weeks before that, actually, I met this guy who was actually the producer for Game of Thrones. Long story short, and so between Coachella and And before my homies were going to perform, I was, still Ubering and stuff. At the time, Ubering to kind of keep the company afloat and, day job type thing. And decided to go Uber a little bit before my buddy's performance. And so I Ubering, I did like one ride or whatever. And then my buddy from Game of Thrones called me because they had some stuff, paperwork they needed me to take care of. And so I stopped Ubering and I go to Staples to handle some paperwork. And then I handle the paperwork. And after that, I decide to just do one more ride before I go to Coachella to, check out my buddy's performance. Always got to stay grinding type thing. And so
Mm-hmm.
I turn on the Uber thing and I get a buzz to go pick up somebody. And this is 5 years after I met Mario. Long story short, I get in the car, I go to the pickup joint to pick up the person. This person gets in the car. Um, this person he was on the phone and he had just flown in from Italy. And so 2-3 days before that, I wasn't supposed to be at Coachella and my buddy sent me the ticket randomly saying, hey, come check us out. Now, 2-3 days before that, this person who had got in my car was not even in the country. And this person had just flown in from Italy. His friend Mariano Di Vaio had just told him to come in, yada, yada, yada. I don't
Who
even know
was
if I'm
also,
supposed to be saying.
no, you're fine.
Yeah.
He was there. He was there with us that night
Yeah.
at
Oh, yeah, Mariano
Soho.
was there. I
Yeah,
forgot. Oh, yeah,
they had
Mariano was there.
come.
So it was me, Mario, and Mariano. I don't know if Jay was there, actually. Maybe Jay was there, maybe he
He
wasn't. But
no, he was. It was all of them. Yeah.
yeah. And so, long story short, I get in the, I go to pick up this person. This person is on the phone. He's freaking out. Well, he's not freaking out. He puts his phone away. He's like, hey, what do you do for a living? Which is kind of a crazy question to ask your Uber driver. But I was like, well, when I'm not driving you around, I'm selling, slanging skateboards and clothes and art and shit. He freaks out. This is Mario. And so
Yeah.
I had not seen him in 5 years. And I met him one night only. And what a, serendipitous, kismet, whatever you want to call it. Of all the people I could have picked up any place in the road, it was Mario that I just picked up. I shut down the Uber immediately and we just start kicking it. And I hadn't seen him in 5 years, and turns out he'd been skating my board all over the world. And, we reconnected that night after 5 years of, that first night of randomly, hanging out at my buddy's studio.
Okay, so that night, I had gone to Playboy with Mariano. That's who we were meeting to do a radio
Yeah.
show for Playboy Network, and then we were over in Soho. So this all
Yeah.
happened at the same weekend, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
is insane to me because I had no idea that y'all had had this huge connection. And then when
Yeah.
I came into Soho, I didn't know Jay or Mariano or them as influencers. They were just people that, I did work with as far as talking. And I was there with a guy who was an influencer. I think he was the influencer agent type person.
Yeah.
And that's how we were all connected. And later on, Mario and I went to Mexico with him, and then he went to
Yeah.
Dominican with me, and we were sitting down talking about it. And I had no idea the serendipity of all of it because
Yeah.
we're all still so connected. Well,
Yeah.
the majority of us are still so connected and have had these incredible life experiences together.
Yeah.
So much so that, like, you are like a family member, he's like a
Yeah.
family
Yeah.
member, and it is such a beautiful serendipity moment. And that is just,
Yeah.
it's crazy to me what a small world it is.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Oh fucking yeah.
Okay, so let's start from the very, very beginning of your life story because it starts with acting and goes into
Yeah.
designing. So
Yeah.
tell the world your story, Young.
My professional career kind of began when I was 15. Uh, I was doing plays and small things like that and, skateboarding a lot. And when I was, 18, I'd been on my own since I was 15, but, between 17 and 18, I started, I had to get a job. It was like, graduating high school, going into college. And so I started acting. Well, first I wrote and produced this play at this theater in Hollywood off of La Brea between Sunset and Hollywood. And it was my first play, first written and wrote, produced it, and directed it with my buddy, Bo Sherman. And after that, it was like really cool. But then I, kind of picked up this manager and then she started getting me work on like, Disney shows like Victorious and Glee and, small shit like that. And, small roles, I mean, for me, but, on shows like that. And so that was like 18, 19,
I like how you
and
say small shows for you.
no, no, it's not a small show. I'm the small role on that show. I'm not. I didn't mean to say that. It's well, man,
I mean,
some people know
even
about it, some people don't know about it.
even a small role in those shows are pretty big, young.
Yeah. Oh, so they're bigger fishes than me, for sure. And so I did some of that. Did a couple of movies and some music and stuff. And when I turned 20, I think, 18, 19 was like the recession. And I think there was some kind of like a writer's strike or some shit going. It's just an era where it was like, okay, cool. I've done some cool shows, but I need something that's my own, kind of a thing. So
Mm-hmm.
in the summer of, in the spring of 2011, I went to Japan after producing the show, my first show the year before. And when I came back from Japan, I just like kind of just taking a break, and I thought, I need something. And so it's kind of funny how it happened. But one of my roommates, I skate a lot. My mode of transportation was just skateboarding. And so he wanted to go buy some new wheels for his skateboard in the valley with some dude he met off of Craigslist. And so he wanted me to come with him just to accompany him. I know a little bit more about skateboarding than he does. I go with him. We're in the valley and I'm just skating around him while they're cutting their deal or whatever, buying his products. And the guy he's buying it from has his own skateboard company. And I don't know. He just met me, but out of nowhere, he says to me, "Hey, you know what? I don't know you, but you should start a company for Hollywood. I have a brand that's running, I'm running the San Fernando Valley. You could run Hollywood and I can help you." And I
Heck
was like,
yeah.
okay. And so, a few weeks later, I went home. The next few days, personally, I kind of hate brands. I don't like brands. I think all brands are stupid. And I think a shirt really is just a fucking shirt. I thought if I'm going to do a brand, it was kind of like a fuck you to the idea of brands. And I didn't really think it would work. And so I came up with the concept of black, but I never write the word black in black. And so I die cut the word black, very, simple actually into the grip tape. The guy who put me on, his name is Vidi.
Mm-hmm.
He put me on and he's like a 70s era skater. And so, in the 70s, they have, they do this thing called die cut grip tapes,
Mm-hmm.
where you cut into the grip tape and the color comes from below
Yeah.
on the board. And so the first thing I designed really was, that board. And it was kind of like you're looking at gold, but you're going to say black, and
Yeah.
it just made me happy because I felt like, as a black, person, I thought like we're really bright people, and not just as a black person, but as a group of, people who are kind of underdogs. There's more than what meets the eye.
Yeah.
And, there's more definitions, but sometimes our human definitions get in the way of what you're looking at. And so the English language might tell you to say black, but you're looking at gold.
Yes.
And I thought it would last a couple of,
I love that.
months or something. And, a couple of months it lasted. And now 12 years later, it's kind of, the main thing that I'm known for. I thought I'd be known for writing by now, but it's kind of taking care of me right now, and I'm thankful for it. And so, yeah, that's how I started, in 2011.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
been 11 years?
12.
2012 years.
Yeah. Unbelievable. My longest relationship. Yeah. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. I've known some people longer than that. No, I've known some.
So you started with skateboards and then you transformed into clothes?
Yeah, 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 yeah. The clothing was kind of really more natural than anything because
Yeah.
my grandmother, who I call my mama, who raised me, she was a designer in Ghana. And so, the skateboarding, it kept going, kind of just like it wouldn't
Yes.
every 3 months it'd be like, all right, this is it. It's about to end. Let me go find another job. But then it would keep going. And so, as a business, you have to diversify. And at the time I worked for a company called SBE,
Mm-hmm.
Sammy Boy Entertainment. And I worked for their location where it was like it was basically a front, it was like a hot dog stand, but really it was just a club in our kitchen, in our back room. And it was kind of a really nice club. But then the story of the hot dog stand is kind of interesting because Papaya King comes from New York.
Yeah.
And the guy that started it, he started out with, he started, slanging hot dogs. No, actually, no, he started selling papaya juices. But the papaya
Wow.
juices wasn't moving as fast, as he wanted it to scale up. And so he brought in the hot dogs. And then eventually he was known for the hot dogs beyond the papaya juices, but it's a hot dog stand called Papaya King. And so
Yeah.
I was working for that. And, same thing with where I worked at because it was Papaya King, but really the Papaya King part was a front for like, a club, called the Sayers Club in the back room. I mean, like, any
Was it
given day.
was it like a speakeasy?
It was a total speakeasy. I think it's the best damn club in the world. I wish it was still around. Anywhere from motherfuck Prince to like, fucking, I mean, it's just everybody was hanging out there, but there is no front entrance, and you got to go into this hot dog stand. And if we let you walk past, us into the back room, you kind of
You get the
turn a little
you get the
corner, and
check
then it's
mark,
like,
the gold check mark.
yeah. It was beautiful. It was all about the music. My buddy Nick Rosen, he was the music director there. Scopa, who started it. My buddy Matthew, DJ Matthew, is the lead DJ there. Tamsin, LP, she blew up her shit there. And so we're all kind of just starting over there. And so, the clothing was natural because I looked at all the businesses around me, and Sammy Boy, he started
Yeah.
with clubs. But then he diversified his portfolio. And so, I was like, okay, the skateboard is like, the calling card, but I mean, people wear shirts, people wear,
Hmm.
hoodies and shit, and so that came in, and, it helped me expand my product line and shit.
My son loves your line. I mean, we all do as a family. Like we all three wear it.
Appreciate you.
But he's been skateboarding on one of your skateboards. Got I think was he 6? I think he was 6
Oh
when
yeah, he was
you
super
when you
young.
when you gave him his first skateboard.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
wild. It's
he's gotten so much taller, and he's like a whole adult now. It's
I
ridiculous.
know. He's like a big man child. He just turned
No.
16. Isn't that
Ah,
wild? Like
God damn. Where did
I'm
the years go, man?
I don't know. They fly by. They fly
So,
by. We need to have a reunion, like all of us,
oh,
like me,
absolutely.
you, Mario. Like
Yes,
we've been talking
yes.
about it for.
We got
I
to go
feel.
to Tulum. Mario has the ramen bar right
I
now.
know.
We got to go eat there.
We d-
Ramen.
we do. We need to do that like this
Yeah,
year. Hey, we can do a group podcast from there. Now that would be killer.
that'd be wild. I'm down.
That would
I'm
be
with it,
killer.
man.
That would
Mario's
be.
mad at me. I don't visit enough. You know what I'm saying? So if he's listening to this, man, we're gonna come to you, bro.
He better be listening to this. We are definitely coming to you. Well,
Yes.
I am so happy that you joined me on here because I do have to say, not only is our connection, your life is very much like my life. It's been a stepping
Yeah.
stone. Well, and probably everybody who's listening to this can look back on their lives and see where the stepping
Yeah.
stones are.
Oh,
But
for sure.
the genuineness and the connection that you've always given to the world, you're one of the most real people that I can actually say are one of my
Thank
friends.
you. Thank you.
Um,
Likewise.
like truthfully. So thank you for jumping on here and telling your
Of course.
story
Of course.
and just spreading the goodness with me. Like
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Okay, so what is your let's do two things. What is your biggest achievement that you never thought that you would actually accomplish, but you're doing it?
Ooh, that's a good question. To be able to live through my work, to be able to live through my work.
Yes.
'Cause I think, we all have ideas, and, we all have, you know, I think life is more than just clocking in, but if you can live through your work as an artist, as a, restaurateur,
No matter
whatever it
what
is,
you
I think
choose
that's
to
really,
do.
yeah,
I
absolutely. It's a big blessing.
yes. Love it.
Yeah.
And now your biggest lesson. If you were able to look at you 10 years ago when we first became
hmm
friends, what is your biggest
hmm
lesson that you could tell yourself that you've learned? 12 years ago, from the
Wow, that's a
start of the
good
business
question.
to now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a really good question. I think the biggest lesson I've learned is that unless you're a shady person and you lie to yourself, believe in yourself and don't doubt yourself. Listen to yourself. And also, it's the best things in life are simple, really. You're not crazy. And sometimes the things that's in front of us, it's kind of like back in high school or whatever, when you would write an essay, the thesis of the whole paper is in in the first paragraph. And so a lot of times I think in our lives, what, if you're wondering what you're going to be doing 2, 3, whatever, 30 years from now, you're probably already doing it, and it's just going to
Yes.
scale up, it's just going to be more of what you're already doing. And so look at what you are and believe in what you are. And if you're a criminal, do it 100%. If you're a saint, do it 100%, but don't lie to yourself.
Oh man, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Young, for being a part
Yeah,
of my life, of my family's
no,
life. And
the pleasure is absolutely mine.
I'm so grateful for the connection. And thank you for being on Get Enlightened with me,
Let's
Lauren Scott.
go. Let's go, man. This is my first podcast, and I freaking enjoyed it. So thank you for allowing me
Woohoo!
to share some of the story. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. Thanks for sharing, babe. Love you big time.
Yes, absolutely. Love you to the moon and back.
Love you too. And thanks, guys, for listening. I'll see you next
Yeah.
week.
Ciao.